Hello everybody, it's IDS around the corner, so I guess it's announcement season. We will obviously have a couple of announcements to make. Let me start by talking about the overall big picture, which is digital dentistry, the area where we have been focusing in the last years. I would like to address a couple of issues, a couple of challenges that I think we all have along the way. And I'll be talking about three things: about the fragmented data, and I think this is quite self-explanatory. There's no digital without data, and there's quite a problem of having all this data scattered around in different places and in different formats. I would like to talk about something slightly more clinical, let's say the predictability or unpredictability in the design process, and here I mean as a whole. Because unlike other fields where where we have the same digital processes such as engineering or architecture, where design is always at the beginning and then you have a very linear flow, what we have in dental is slightly different. You do things like smile design in the beginning, which is high level, let's say, design process where you just solve a couple of the issues, you make the communication visual, you engage with the patient. But then from that, the challenge is how do you convert that into an actual predictable treatment, especially as things get more complex, and how do you end up in the real design at the end, which is the CAD/CAM as we know it. And last but not least is talking about multidisciplinarity, where unfortunately today we are many times working silos, disconnected, because sometimes it's just difficult to piece together the different pieces, also in terms of technology. In 2019 we launched Smilecloud, which was a project designed to tackle these problems. To break it down at a granular level, what we came up as differentiators in this landscape, particularly the design part, we came up with the use of AI, which led to a more automated process. And I think this is important, that you just get to where you need with less amount of clicks/effort. Then again, I think we managed to bring a very high level, if not the highest level, of photorealism in this technology. And last but not least, probably the most important one, is the value proposition of using biometric data. Traditionally, in a smile design process, your output is a simple illustration or a comparison between two illustrations. Here you have this and you potentially can get this. But the problem was, how do I follow up to this in 3D? How do I take this to a CAD? And I think the value proposition here is that the output has changed to actual export of libraries and their respective position. Because essentially, Smilecloud works as a search engine for anatomy. That's the actual key, because this anatomy is then further the reference that can be taken into CAD. It can be converted into an actual mock-up. It can be converted into a reference for surgical planning, for ortho movement, etc. Now, the collaboration part, you always work at least with a technician, if not with many other specialists, depending on what the case requires. We pitched this idea of a centralized collaboration, and this, I think, is fundamental in any scenario that requires teamwork, that you have everybody having the same perspective, looking at the same thing, this concept that you have and the data and the people and the communication in the same place. Also, we came up with this idea of having a interdisciplinary viewer, if you will, where you can bring in different planning from different projects. You can have your prosthetic planning, you can have your ortho planning, you can have your surgical planning, and you can stack them together if you want. We were able to bring all of this to a browser, which means that you can have access to it anytime, anywhere. There's no limitation, there's no dongles, there's no special operating system, there's no specific device. It's just anywhere and anytime you need it. So now for the exciting part. I have two very important announcements to make. One is to show you what we have been working in the last years and what you can expect to be coming to the market in the next couple of months, which is a new, powerful smile design engine. Why I think this is very important? Because obviously, as you might have guessed, it addresses one of the core issues in the overall big picture. The conversion from smile design, where we have, everything in pretty much like from a two-dimensional perspective, to 3D, which is the world of CAD. And as you can see, this engine is fully three-dimensional, which means the output game changes fundamentally. And we foresee that there will be almost like a seamless transition from a smile design project to a CAD project. And second, I would like to announce the idea of connected workflows. Imagine being able to take a planning from one software, imagine, let's say, your surgical planning, and just being able to drag and drop it in a browser, have it cloud-based, and being stacked on top of your prosthetic planning. Imagine being able to do the same with your orthodontic planning. All of this being synchronized. And in order to achieve this, I'm proud to present a new global partnership with Straumann Group that has the potential to make this a reality, to make all these loose ends meet for the dentist, for the technician, for the specialist, and ultimately for the patient.